The plot thickens. On the 30th of October, I heard a strange story about the Bogdanoffs that suggested some complicated trickery was afoot. On November 5th, an article by Rich Monastirsky appeared in the Chronicle of Higher Education, recounting this story. Trinex Thuan, a professor of astronomy at the University of Virginia, sued the Bogdanoffs in France a decade ago, charging that, in God and Science, they had plagiarized his book The Secret Melody, and Man Created the Universe. Published in English by Oxford University Press in 1995. In the end, he says, the judge found in his favor, and the brothers, along with their publisher, had to pay 80,000 francs to Mr. Thuan. The brothers say that they did not commit plagiarism and that Mr. Thuan had copied their own earlier work, so they never paid him any money. The plagiarism lawsuit may explain why the twins were so eager to get doctorates, says Mr. Thuan. The back cover of their book claimed that they held doctorates when they did not, and they hurriedly tried to get degrees as the court case played out in the early 1990s, he says. John D. Barrow, a professor of mathematical sciences at the University of Cambridge, says the brothers contacted him at that time with an odd request. They were very anxious to obtain Ph.D.s very quickly, and they tried to con me into becoming an examiner, he says. There were 2 theses that they had submitted. They were laughable compendiums. As for the brothers, he says, I regard them as mysterious people, not as hoaxers. The Bogdanoffs say that the statement on the back cover of the book was the fault of a clumsy editor who wrote that they had degrees when they were actually in the process of earning them. They also deny trying to get doctorates quickly and say that they had contacted Mr. Barrow about long-term plans. Such arguments between the Bogdanoffs and others do not surprise Jean Storn, General Secretary of the Interdisciplinary University of Paris, who helped Mr. Thuan with the plagiarism case against the brothers. They are like water, he says. You can never catch them. In the original version of this article, John Barrow had said I regard them as sinister people, but then the Bogdanoffs threatened to sue, so this was changed to I regard them as mysterious people. The Bogdanoffs come across rather badly in this article. However, their thesis advisor, Daniel Sternheimer, tells the story quite differently in his response to Monastirsky's article. Dear Monastirsky, I have been forwarded the text of your November 5 Chronicle article, entitled French TV Stars Rock the World of Theoretical Physics. I shall make only a few comments on facts. 1. You write. According to Mr. Sternheimer, Grichka Bogdanoff applied for his Ph.D. in physics in 1999 but was granted one in mathematics instead. There must be a misunderstanding. Our group, UMR 5029, is in mathematical physics, and its members are affiliated with the Department of Mathematics of Université de Bourgogne or with the section of mathematics in CNRS, or visitors and students. I was sole, administrative, supervisor for Grichka in Dijon. In 1999, given his thesis, though we have a common école doctorale at our UFR faculty, Sciences et Techniques, it was clear that Grichka's thesis was in mathematics and that appears on the cover of the final ms. In both cases there was only one other professor from Dijon to complete the jury. For Grichka, it was a mathematics professor. For Igor, it was a theoretical physics professor. That is not coincidental too. You write. Trinex Thuan, a professor of astronomy at the University of Virginia, sued the Bogdanoffs in France a decade ago, charging that, in God and Science, they had plagiarized his book The Secret Melody, and Man Created the Universe. Published in English by Oxford University Press in 1995. In the end, he says, the judge found in his favor, and the brothers, along with their publisher, had to pay 80,000 francs to Mr. Thuan. The brothers say that they did not commit plagiarism and that Mr. Thuan had copied earlier work of their own, so they never paid him any money. Text is certainly a well-established astrophysicist and he is also a quite successful writer of essays, even if none of his essays had the success of Duet la Science. But his memory is very partial. It is true that a first court decision, in Rafir in 1991, confirmed in 1992, gave Fayad and him a modest provision of 50,000 FFR, 50 kf, from Grasset and 15 kf from the twins. But in January 1994, 4 members of the French Académie des Sciences, Yves Coppens, Jean Dorst, André Leclerc-Aux, Etienne Wolff issued an affidavit, confirmed by Jacques Friedel, then president of the Academy, giving among others a non-exhaustive list of 9 quotations, 5 of them appearing in La Mélodie Secrète, which come from texts by Gittin or the twins prior to the latter, from 1963, 1986 and early 1987. Prior to that, the magazine Paris Match had given, in its the 12th of September, 1991, and confirmed in affidavits from October 1993 and January 1994, examples proving that text had reproduced parts of a grand document of 50 typewritten pages by Gittin and the twins, December 1986, On the Place of God in Modern Science, and some of another, January 1987, based on the transcript of an interview of Carl Sagan by the twins. After that, a first court decision in March 1994 awarded only 60 kf plus 20 kf TO text for some technicalities. The whole matter of respective accusations of plagiarism went on, but was eventually stopped short by Hachette and an out-of-court agreement was reached, according to which the provisions were returned. Text renounced to the 80 kf. Each side paid for the court and lawyer expenses it had made, and the following press release was issued by Hachette. The translation is mine, and I cut some civilities and full names, regretting the echoes in the media of the dispute between them. Fayard and their author text, Grasset and their authors Gittin and Messieurs Bogdanoff, have decided to put a final stop to it, leaving to the whole scientific community the expressions and metaphors to which both of them referred, preserving in this way the respective integrity of the authors. I have copies of original documents proving the above facts. The discrepancies between what text told you and the last agreement, which he signed along with all parties involved on the 13th of May, 1995, are, mildly speaking, strange. They are far more serious than mnemonical errors or misrepresentations that the twins let pass, like some about their age, which I have seen in a magazine quoted as 38 when they were 50. That was 2 years ago. Like many women, TV stars feel often flattered to be thought younger than they are. Another fact is that The Secret Melody is now being re-edited and should be out in December. I found that with Google. Still another is that Duet La Science was never published in English, though it has been translated in many languages, and that lawyers' fees in the US can exceed by far any profit from translations. Any connection between these facts is surely coincidental. From a distance such as mine, it's quite hard to tell what's really going on. Perhaps some long-standing enmities are the ultimate cause of some aspects of this fuss, in which case it may be almost impossible to unravel all the details.